Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, dear students. It is my great honor and privilege to introduce our keynote speaker from the First World Maritime Education and Training Multidisciplinary Congress. Please join me in welcoming Captain João Frade, the Vice President of the Portuguese Maritime College Escola Superior Náutica Infante de Henrique. With an outstanding career dedicated to maritime education and training, Captain Frade has played a pivotal role in shaping the future of maritime professionals in Portugal and beyond. Under his leadership, the Portuguese Maritime College has advanced innovative training methodologies and strengthened international collaborations, ensuring that maritime education keeps pace with the rapidly evolving demands of the global shipping industry. Today, Captain João Frade will share his expert insights on maritime training, emphasizing approaches that enhance the competence, safety, and sustainability of maritime operations worldwide. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Captain João Frade.
Thank you, Professor Kerman. Good morning, distinguished guests, colleagues, participants, students, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great honor and excitement for me to participate in this First World Multidisciplinary Congress on Maritime Education and Training in Constanța Maritime University. Thank you again for the invitation. Great pleasure to me be here to join with you. So my speech will cover these topics, brief introduction, and speak a little bit about Portuguese Maritime College and, of course, education and training. I'm sure I'm the only one and no guest here, so big responsibility to give this speech to all of you. Therefore, I will make a brief biographical note for me. My name is João Frade, and I come from Portugal. I finished my degree in breach and deck operation in 1997 when I began my maritime career. After 10 years of working at sea, with experience in all ranks and different types of ships, I accept the challenge to become a lecturer in the Maritime College, my college. I finished my master degree in train the training 2009 and my PhD 2015, both studies related with maritime education. In Portuguese Maritime College, I work in the navigational area and ship handling. I hold various positions such as coordinator of bachelor degree in breach and deck operation and also coordinator of master degree in breach and deck operation, president of the Maritime Certification Council, head of the Department of Transport and Logistics, and since September 2022, vice president of the institution. Since May 2025, I have been appointed vice president of the Nautical Institute. I am the cadet vice president of the Nautical Institute, the youngest. Let's proceed. Okay. Now I will give a brief presentation of my college and some image for you follow. So founded in 1924, it initially operated at Portuguese Navy facilities in Lisbon. Since 1972, ENIDH has been located in Passo de Arcos, nearby Lisbon. ENIDH is the only public higher education institution dedicated to the training in maritime and port area. Our campus is in front of Tagus River in Oeiras Valley, municipality of Oeiras, with 80,000 square meters, as you can see on that image. Big campus and a nice view from the river. So inside our campus, as you can see, we have many facilities for maritime training, students resident and swimming pool, gym, simulators, and workshops, and so on and so on. Just so you have an idea about what we have in our campus, take this opportunity to show our institution to you. So here you can see the main building, the indoor and swimming pool and gym. Next one, it's also image from our simulators, deck engine, GMDSS, liquid cargo handling simulator. Next one, some pictures from labs and workshops we have. Just so you have an idea. And here is our International Maritime Safety Center, which opened last year, was investment of 3.5 million euros, co-funding from EUA. And it was the biggest investment we had in our centenary. This is some investments already underway. DP position simulator, emergency management simulator, and vessel traffic simulator. So we are in the process to acquire these new simulators. So all of you are invited to visit our campus on next trip to Lisbon. All of you will be welcome. So next trip to Lisbon, put in your agenda. So this is our course. We have more than 1,000 students distributed by this course. We have 7 professional courses, as you can read all the course there. The undergraduate course, the bachelor degree, 6, 2 master degrees, and all STCW short course. So, as you can see, I will not read all the course, but it's maritime related or port activities, some in the IT area. It's our course. So, you already saw this image before, but I will use it also. Our ocean, our obligation, our opportunity. So, the World Maritime Day 2025 took place in September, last month, as you know, and this year the theme was, as you can read, our ocean, our obligation, our opportunity. Several initiatives were held to commemorate the day, and one activity was the IMO Secretary General went back to school to speak with the children about the importance of protecting the oceans. Excellent initiative in my opinion, and I mentioned this situation because I will relate it to a topic that I will speak later on, related to back to school. So I will use this theme also, our ocean, our obligation, and our opportunity. Here we are. We are living days in intense transformation, or search for solutions that enable this transformation in our ocean. And here we value the work and effort that maritime sector have put into supporting this transformation. IMO, member states, EMSA, non-governmental organizations, ship owners, college. It's a work of all these organizations. The challenge we face, from climate change to the evolution of the international regulation, requires everyone involved to be aware about the most suitable practice and the necessary development of maritime and port activity. Port and ships face challenge of an unprecedented scale and complexity, technological advance, and the search for new solutions that guarantee the sustainability of maritime and port activities, especially considering environmental impacts, energy efficiency, and the responsible use of natural resources. We know that ships and ports are fundamentals to global trade. Technological developments and innovation must therefore be allied to the reality of the sector we hear before here. But it will be our proactive attitude and the medium-term management strategy of all those involved that will define the sources of implementation of safe and sustainable practice to minimize the environmental impacts. Improving sustainability and increased safety in ports is ongoing responsible to ensure that port operation and ship operation follow the best environment safety practices. Anticipating the future skills and the certifications involves analyzing the trends that are driving change in the sector and understand which skills will become essential in the near future for high specialized professional in the maritime and port sector. The digital revolution in the maritime sector is evident. Transforming process and naturally require workers to adapt the train through continuous training. The continuous training of professionals will be essential, particularly in emergency technologies such as digitalization and maritime data analytics, automation and autonomous vessel operation, maritime cybersecurity, sustainable maritime practices, and green shipping, but also, and we are here today before, behavior competence. So such as soft skills and the most important one, emotional intelligence. It will be necessary to bring theory and practice even closer together, and here the maritime sector will play a very important role, bringing teaching and research in the sector even close together. I'm certain that the institution where we are today, Constanța Maritime University, will keep the course with the training requirements for the future needs, as has been the case until now. Congratulations for your course in the maritime training for all Constanța staff and lectures. I'm sure that this Congress will make a good contributions to current change. Here I also like the work being done by the Nautical Institute and congratulate CEO, Captain John Light, who is here today, for example, in the training standards of handling alternative fuels in the maritime sector course. All of us already know the most valuable resource that exists are without people, human resource, and training transforms and adapts this essential resource. And this is our obligation as a maritime college. I will conclude my speech by raising two issues of concern that I have. It's personal concerns. One is related to cadet sea time, and the other is related to the lack of knowledge about the seafarer profession. With regard to the professional integration of cadets, particularly the difficulty in finding their first ship, leading many young people to give up without having their first opportunity. It's our obligation. Work together to find ways that do not compromise the safety of the ship's operation, but which allow the cadets to start his career without major difficulties. And my first thought is simple. In almost 50 years, the STCW Convention, the training period was never been revised, remaining at 12 months. After almost 50 years, what is the reason to maintain the 12 months? Are there any studies that justify maintaining this period of sea service? Or there are only opinions that do not allow the training period to be changed just because? I'm not aware of any study. I know this is a complex issue and today is not the most appropriate time to discuss, don't worry. But probably it is a concern shared by some maritime college and I feel I must address it. Ships are evolved greatly technological since 1978, but training has also evolved and now has a resource at its disposal that did not exist before, allowing the training process to be more closely aligned with the activity, such as use of simulators, labs, and other equipment and resource, making training more efficient for the integration of the trainees. It's our obligation to help our graduates to have more opportunities to embark on their careers. So, the International Chamber of Shipping projects a shortfall of approximately 9,000 trainee seafarers by 2026, around 26,000 officers. And we can do the following quickly exercise. This is just a quickly exercise. If we can reduce 1 month of the cadet sea time, we can increase at least 8% of new opportunities for the cadets. Why 11 months are not enough? If you can reduce 2 months, 60% increase of new opportunities, and so on until 6 months, we are talking about 50% of new opportunities for young people to start his career. In my opinion, reducing sea time does not compromise the safety of operation. Unfortunately, we have situations where sea time are complete without any experience of the future officer of the watch, that is, but only cleaning tasks on deck or engine. This is the reality. I can share my case. It's just a case which may be common to many here. I can even say that after 6 months of working on a chemical tanker as a cadet in the north of Europe as a bridge cadet, doing watch on bridge and on deck, I was able to perform my officer of the watch duties after 6 months. But if reducing the sea time requirement alone does not satisfy those involved, and there are many opinions regarding this topic, so then at least alternative ways of accounting for sea service time should be considered. For example, the regulated use of the simulators. Summarizing it into a single question, why 12 months? In my opinion, of course. Yeah, we will see. We will see. Different opinions. When we have different opinions, it's a case that there is a problem. So we need to find a solution because there are many opinions, different opinions. So on the last topic I would like to raise, it's the other concern. It's regarding our opportunity as a maritime college to ensure that young people want to be seafarer. A career as a seafarer has more advantage than disadvantage, and the lack of knowledge about the profession limits young people from considering it as a career. We can only ensure the future of the maritime sector if we have the human resource available to work in the sector. In this regard, we must promote the maritime profession so that young people are aware of the opportunities that the maritime sector can offer them. At the same time, we can continue to develop autonomous ships with artificial intelligence, But we must also promote the seafarer profession as a profession with a future. In this sense, all of us in the maritime sector, especially those who work as a seafarers, must ensure that young people are aware of the maritime profession. This work must be done through promotional activities and initiatives that connect young people to the sea. Seafarers are not immigrants, and I am nothing against immigrants. But seafarers work abroad and then return home. In this way, they are not represent an expense for a country without returns, but rather an investment, because they have a significant return on the country economy. That is why this awareness campaign must start early, allowing all children should have the opportunity to learn to swim. And all children should have the opportunity to learn to sail or practice activities related to the sea. And all children should learn about profession related to the sea. This is our mission. We must start early to connect young people to the sea. We must make the seafarer profession part of the young people dream. It cannot just be a football player, firefighter, or police. Seafarer must be a dream. We have a long way to go, for sure, but boy by boy, we will reach a safe port. Over the next days, we are excited to have so many distinguished experts with us, presenting and discussing some topics related to maritime education and training, maritime and marine technology and innovation. Congratulations again, and thanks for the invitation again to Constanța Maritime University and the organization of this Congress on its initiative. And I wish all of you a great Congress and a good results, because progress comes with sharing knowledge and experience, and the next days we will share it. Thank you very much.
We continue now with the scientific program, and according to this, the next guest speaker is Professor Gabriel Raicu, Rector of Constanța Maritime University and President of the Cybersecurity Center of Excellence. Although Professor Gabriel Raicu is currently abroad, attending the signing of a significant project, he has thoughtfully prepared a video presentation to share his expert insights with us today. With extensive experience in maritime education and cybersecurity, Professor Gabriel Raicu brings a unique and vital perspective on the challenges and opportunities at the intersection of maritime operations and digital security. Now please join me in welcoming Professor Gabriel Raicu and in viewing his keynote video address. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished colleagues, partners, and friends, it is an honor to speak with you today on a subject that defines our collective resilience: cybersecurity of critical infrastructures. I speak on behalf of MAR-Cisco EE, the Maritime Cybersecurity Center of Excellence at Constanța Maritime University, where we translate research into readiness, lessons into doctrine, and exercises into operational capability. Our vantage point is practical: ports, ships, energy terminals, telecoms backbones, and the digital nervous systems that bind them. When these systems are disrupted, supply chains bend, public services slow, and trust fractures. When they are resilient, economies breathe easy, even under stress. Over the last years, together with our partners, we have pursued a portfolio of initiatives that turn strategy into action. SAMAROP, our Maritime CCERT Capability and Operations Concept. ISE Bridge, Civil Defense Synergies for Cyber Resilience. SARES Range, Advanced Cyber Range Training at Scale. Cloud, Trusted Data Fabrics and AI-Assisted Operations. And RONACU-CI, Romania's Quantum Communications Infrastructure, a pillar for post-quantum trust. Today, I'll share in 7 steps through which we at CMU see the mission, build capability, and measure impact. My aim is simple: offer concrete, practice-proven methods any operator, regulator, or educator can adopt tomorrow morning. Let us begin. Critical infrastructures are systems of systems, physical assets, operational technology, OT-ICS, enterprise IT, cloud and AI services, and above all, people and procedures. What makes them critical in cyber terms is interdependence. A single compromised sensor, PLC, or API can ripple through port operations, vessel traffic management, energy distribution, even national public services. Three characteristics dominate our threat model: blended attack surfaces. Adversaries pivot between IT and OT. They fish a contractor, land in the enterprise, and then laterally move toward industrial controllers. Time sensitivity. In ports and energy terminals, minutes matter. Detection delayed is disruption multiplied. Regulatory gravity. Frameworks like NIS2, the CER directive, IEC recommendations, ISO standards, and IMO guidance anchor expectations. But capability is what keeps cargo flowing. Our operating framework at Marsisco is pragmatic. We align detection and response to MITRE ATT&CK for enterprise and for ICS, and we operationalize with a 7-move loop. Map interdependencies and crown jewels, harden configurations and access, detect with multi-layer sensors and behavior analytics, respond with rehearsed playbooks and CSIRT procedures, recover with staged backups and cyber-physical failover, share indicators and lessons with trusted networks, evolve through exercises, audits, and standards updates. Every project I'll discuss plugs into one or more of these moves. Together, they shape a living capability. CYMEROP began with a simple question: how do we give maritime operators a true CCERT grade response capability that spans ships, ports, and their digital supply chains? Our answer combined 3 pillars: PLOINT, situational awareness, continuous monitoring across fleet IT, port IT, and OT segments, with clear segregation and tightly controlled bridges. Playbook-driven response. We codified OT-aware response for typical maritime scenarios: malware on a shipboard workstation, anomalous traffic near ballast control networks, spoofed GNSS signals, or ransomware in port logistics. Trusted escalation paths. When an incident crosses the threshold, safety, environmental, or public impact, escalation engages national authorities and sectoral CCERTs. Let me illustrate with a synthesis of training cases. An attacker fishes a port supplier, gains access to a web portal, and pivots toward a terminal operating system. Our early detection flags abnormal API calls. The SOC isolates a suspicious session, while the OT liaison verifies that no automation cell is affected. Meanwhile, vessel agents are alerted to prepare manual workarounds. The playbook triggers: contain, verify integrity, validate backups, and stage recovery. Within hours, operations stabilize. Within days, lessons learned update firewall rules, supplier access, and logging depth. CYMEROP's lesson is not perfect prevention. It is predictable, rehearsed control under uncertainty. That is the difference between a story of disruption and a case study in resilience. Bridge asked us to solve a long-standing problem. Civilian and defense communities face overlapping threats, but operate under different mandates, vocabularies, and tempos. Our answer was to build structured bridges, shared language, shared exercises, shared doctrine fragments without compromising roles. 3 concrete outputs stand out: Joint Tabletop Exercises, TTX, ran realistic scenarios, hybrid campaigns hitting port logistics, telecom exchanges, and national services. Outcomes, clarified thresholds, improved intel sharing, and faster decision loops under stress. Governance patterns, playbooks mapped to who decides what, when, and based on which indicators. A crucial ingredient for time-bounded decisions. Capability catalogs, a living map of who can monitor, analyze, attribute, coordinate, and recover, so that during a crisis, people call the right entity first. The key insight: speed of trust determines speed of response. When civil and defense nodes understand each other's authorities and constraints before the incident, minutes are saved and damage is reduced during it. ECI Bridge transformed multi-domain cooperation from aspiration into muscle memory. If say Marab is how we fight, say range is how we learn to fight well. A cyber range is not just a lab. It is an ecosystem where we emulate real maritime IT/OT topologies, inject multi-layer attacks, email to endpoint, to AD, to PLC, and evaluate team behaviors under pressure. We built a progressive curriculum: foundation, network hygiene, logging, identity hardening, OT segmentation, hunt and respond, threat hunting with ATT&CK, forensics, ICS anomaly triage, command and control, executive injects, legal PR coordination, sector authority notifications. Purple teaming, red and blue in iterative cycles. Each round produces concrete hardening and better detections. Participants leave with habits. They label data sources. They ask for ground truth from OT. They challenge assumptions, and they rehearse escalations. Technology moves fast. Habits outlive tool versions. Say ranges turns individual skill into organizational readiness. Modern resilience depends on data discipline. Our cloud project tackled the practical question: how do we build a trusted data fabric across IT, OT, and operations so that AI helps without creating new risks? We adopted 4 principles: least necessary aggregation, bring in only the signals needed; EDR telemetry, IDS events, selected OT tags, ticketing and CMDB, and enforce data minimization. Model transparency. Use AI ML to enrich detections and predict operational risk, but document features, limits, and human override paths. Zero trust access. Identities are verified continuously. Service accounts are fenced with short-lived credentials and policy enforcement. Operational outcomes. Dashboards that answer so what. Which berth is at risk today? Which vessel needs a patch window? Which supplier's token must be rotated now? The payoff is not AI for AI's sake. It is mission assurance, fewer blind spots, faster triage, and better alignment between cyber teams and operations. Cloud proves that privacy by design and security by design can coexist with operational excellence. The future arrives unevenly. Romania's quantum communications infrastructure is our commitment to post-quantum trust, so that confidential control channels, regulatory reporting, and cross-border coordination remain safe even when classical cryptography erodes. Our practical roadmap for critical infrastructure operators. Near term, now, inventory cryptography, enable crypto agility, and test post-quantum algorithms in non-critical paths. Midterm, deploy hybrid schemes, classical plus post-quantum, on sensitive flows. Validate performance against operational constraints. Long-term, where justified, integrate QKD-backed links for the crown jewels, control center backbones, regulator gateways, and inter-operator corridors. Quantum is not a buzzword. It is assurance engineering for the decade ahead. And just like with SAE-MAROP, ISE-Bridge, SAE-RES range, and cloud, our stance is pragmatic. Test, measure, iterate, operationalize. Okay, so what must we all do next? Institutionalize exercises. Make TTX and range drills a quarterly ritual. Codify playbooks. Map detection to decisions to authorities. Secure the data fabric, so AI adds signal, not noise. Harden identities and segmentation, especially across IT/OT seams. Invest in crypto agility now, so post-quantum migration is controlled, not chaotic. Grow the talent pipeline. Engineers, operators, legal, comms, leadership. Resilience is a team sport. Share quietly, learn loudly. Indicators flow within trust circles, lessons flow across the sector. In order to conclude, at Marcisco E and CMU, we will continue to stand exactly where practice meets policy and training meets operations. The projects I shared today are not endpoints. They are building blocks for a safer maritime and national ecosystem. Resilience is not a product you buy. It is a discipline you practice. Thank you, and let's keep building it together.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much all. Thank you to our keynote speakers, being with video messages or and presentations, or here in person. Well, now it's time for joining, the group photo. Just be ready, for photos to be, the photo session to be, taken here.